All right, so the House Oversight Committee has only just begun their investigation into Joe Biden's auto pen and the cover-up of his cognitive decline, which, by the way, was very obvious from the beginning. We first pointed it out, in August or September of 2019. Anyway, here's a reminder.
If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330.
We choose truth over facts.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. So I was sort of raised in the Puerto Rican community at home. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. I want to thank the former general. I keep calling him general, but the guy who runs that outfit over there. List of jobs that are going to be created here.
The joke. Think about it. Think about what you'd think about.
The United States of America, for God's sake. This is who we are.
And you know how much I'm going to do with the deficit this year?
I used to drive a tractor trailer.
Oh, awesome.
Now, the Oversight Committee has now requested transcribed interviews from some of Biden's top aides, including Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, Chief of Staff Jeff Zients. And here's a simple question for all of them. Who was running the country while Joe Biden was a cognitive mess? Take a look.
The political coverage look. Some of the political players and some of the let me ask a rhetorical question. No, I won't. Anyway.
Who knew what? When did they know it? Was it Jill Biden? Yesterday, her former top aide, so-called work husband, Anthony Bernal, had his term in front of the Oversight Committee. He pled the fifth to every single question. What's he hiding? Bernal was actually the boss of our next guest, Jill Biden's former press secretary, Michael LaRosa, who joins us now. Well, first, I give you credit for coming on the show. A lot of Democrats won't come on this show. I don't know why. We invite them. I'm very, very nice. I'm a very personable human being.
You are.
Okay. Michael, let's be real here. Let's cut to the chase. When did you first notice his cognitive decline?
I didn't notice his cognitive decline. He was an older person and aging. Like your last guest just said about President Trump, they are older, they are aging. John, I'm not here to flack for the Bidens. Trust me. They think I'm, probably very disloyal for being too candid.
Even after the disaster of a debate, even then, you had no earthly idea at all whatsoever that he was slipping, that he was not the same guy that he was even when he was vice president.
Well, it was clear that he wasn't the same guy that he was when he was vice president the entire time that I worked
so you knew it by then. But when did you notice it beforehand? Because I was pointing it out in September of 2019. That's how early we picked up on, the thing, the thing.
Yeah,
God.
but you remember, Sean, he
God,
was
the creator of
always
everything, that guy.
I know, but you remember, a lot of that used to be part of his political charm, and his clumsiness was part of all of the Biden authenticity stuff. But you're right. No, you're right. He wasn't the same person, and things got worse. And like your last guest, Congressman Jackson, said, these guys are old. They're aging. It's part of aging. You're right.
Okay, but the thing is, when it is a very different issue if you have what President Trump, what he was very transparent about in terms of his health, and
Absolutely.
a cognitive decline of a president, the guy that holds, has the nuclear football with him at all times, and the guys that's got to make decisions. Now, the New York Times reported that Joe Biden only laid out criteria and standards for commutations and pardons in the final day, and we don't even know who gave the authorization, who made the decision. It appears, according to that report, I'm sure you read it, that it was not Joe Biden that made every decision. That, according to lawyers we've had on this show, would invalidate those commutations and invalidate those pardons. I would assume you believe in the Constitution. And do you not see a constitutional crisis in all of this? That other people are making decisions for a duly elected president?
Well, it's not unprecedented for presidents to pardon classes of people. I'm sure you remember the 1,500 pardons.
We're not talking about that. The president has to make the decision on every person. That piece suggested he only laid out criteria and standards, and that others made the decision who made the cut list, not him.
Okay, he says otherwise, or they say otherwise. Remember that. They said, and Jeff Zients gave the approval for
You read the piece.
the use of the
That's not what it said there.
Yeah,
All right, let me ask you this. You work for Jill Biden. Now, it was very obvious they were hiding Joe Biden going back. He ran a campaign in the basement in 2020. They obviously knew he had problems. There's no doubt about it. You can sit here and be a good little Democrat and kind of, just like the border is closed and the border is secure, that was a lie. Just like inflation was transitory, that was a lie. That Joe is cognitively strong, that's a lie. And you could be a good Democrat, but the reality is, I have a real problem with the family because whatever we saw publicly had to be much worse privately. And are you going to sit here and tell me that that family didn't know that this guy had no business being president, no business running again for the presidency? And who would try to keep him in a race after incident, crescendoing at that debate disaster with Donald Trump? I mean, to me, we're bordering on abuse here.
I think those weeks immediately following the debate were a disaster in every way, from crisis management to PR
but he
to
was
their
a
general
disaster
instincts.
Before. That's the problem. And
it's
just, what the problem is? You're a Democrat. You have to protect the Democratic Party. Okay, I can respect the loyalty aspect of it. What I can't respect is I used to say to my young kids, stop insulting my intelligence.
No, I know.
You
and John,
knew
look,
for a long time he was a mess. And you don't want to admit it. Why don't you just say, you know what? It was obvious. He needed help. They covered it up for him. It was wrong. We shouldn't have done it. Why don't you just come clean?
It was wrong. And you know what? The pardons are a great example. This was the guy that signed the crime bill that expanded the death penalty, just pardoned murderers and people who executed FBI agents, a mother and a son.
All right, I'm getting a glimpse. Michael, thank you. I'm getting a glimpse of truth.
No,
you knew for a long time.
I'm disturbed by it.
You knew for a long time he was a mess. True or false?
That's not true. I am concerned.
No.
I'm concerned
Stop being
about
a Democrat
the pardons.
for a minute. Be honest. You knew for a long time there was something radically wrong. You did.
I think Anthony, who took the fifth, knew that he was not the same guy.
I'm not talking about Anthony. I'm talking to you, Michael. You knew
but John,
that it was
I told
bad
you.
for a long time. And frankly, that makes you part of the lie. And that to me, causes a constitutional crisis.
My experience with Jill and Joe Biden, that was not the case. It just wasn't.
Really? So the one you saw publicly that you say it on the one hand you knew, and on the other hand, it wasn't the guy that I saw behind the scenes. That guy was probably far worse.
The guy that you exposed for 2019, you played all the clips. He still won the most votes by any president in history. So what does that tell you about the rest of the country?
It got progressively worse. Is the point.
Yes, sure.
And you knew by
2021,
for the latest, that it was a big problem. That's why they hid him. But I do appreciate you coming on. I will say that. I appreciate you should tell your fellow Democrats it's not that bad. We appreciate you being here.
all the time.
All right. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.